What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 150. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Nick, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. 150. Wow.
I know it's a big milestone. I wish we didn't really plan anything, but
I wonder what the percentage of podcasts
make it this high.
that make it this high.
I don't know.
We're probably like in the top 10%.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously, I guess like a bunch of, media outlets have their podcasts that go up into the. I mean, I think like Joe Rogan's on like in the thousands by now, but I think he does like a daily show though. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, does that count? Is that fair?
I guess
ours is weekly.
Yeah, I guess it counts, but yeah, I would say. Yeah, I wonder what the percentage is for a weekly podcast is. That's. I'm sure
because like a lot of them are like scripted and like planned out. You know, like, oh, we're gonna have like a series on blah blah blah, and once it's done, it's done. But we can just go forever, man.
Yeah, as long as there's games to play and news to go on. We're forever, baby.
We're good. We're timeless.
We're timeless. We're timeless. But yeah, before we dive into obviously the Game Awards was the big thing last week.
Yes, it was
probably the last really big bit of news we're gonna get this year. Before we dive into that and the games we've been playing, Nick, how was your week?
It was alright. Got sick on Wednesday. Just like randomly woke up and started feeling bad. And it was like another stomach thing, which I've had like 4 different stomach viruses this year, or like within the last like 14 months or something.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, do I have to go through this again? The whole rigmarole of having stomach pain, thinking I'm going to throw up, and then, I don't know, taking like 3 or 4 days to get better. But luckily, I got better in like a day or two. And presumably it was because I had a flu shot the week before. And I think that I got it's called like the flu B. It's like the stomach flu.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been a lot worse, but I had the flu shot and it might have helped. But that's the only conclusion that I can think of, because Alicia, she didn't get whatever I had, and she had the flu B earlier this year. So that's my conclusion. But
yeah, I mean that stuff can always.
Dude, stomach stuff is so annoying. It's almost debilitating. Like if I have like a bad headache or I have a cold or something like that, like I can work through that.
Yeah.
But when it's stomach stuff, it's like that's all you can think about. So I just took half the day off on Wednesday, laid in bed all day, and then Thursday I was like doing better. Like I was able to work all day, but still like on and off, going to the bathroom, that kind of stuff. But it's better by the weekend.
I get pretty lucky with. I really don't get sick too often. I mean, last year I had like that weird stomach bug for. It was like maybe 10 hours that I had it, but I mentioned this before. I probably went to the bathroom like 30 times that day, like, and then at like 4 or 5, it just stopped, and I was good. Like nothing happened. So yeah, stomach bugs are always just so random because you're like, am I sick? Is it like, did I eat something? Is it
what
food
did
poisoning?
I do to get this?
what did I deserve to get this? So
which is weird because like I didn't get sick at all in 2020, and I barely got sick in 2021, and that's attributable to not really going out in like large public spaces, like still going out, but not like
what a good time, man. Like as bad as 2020 was, like it was a pretty decent year for myself.
It was weirdly quaint.
Yeah.
Very like, I don't know. It's almost like a self-reflective year.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to go through it again, obviously. I mean, for other reasons than selfish reasons, but that was an interesting year.
Yeah, like luckily we personally weren't too impacted by it. Like none of our family members really got too sick
No.
from COVID. But yeah, looking back on it, it's like it was such a weird time. Like there's never been a time in my life that's like 2020
No.
where I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, everyone went through it, but like it was weird being in DC at the time,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, especially
I don't know.
being in a city, because being in a kind of a rural-ish area where I'm at, like, I mean, people follow the rules for the most part, wear their masks. Like I remember for like the first month, I was doing hand sanitizer every single time I was getting in and out of the car, and then,
Yeah.
as the times went, like the months went on, like I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna mask up and all that stuff to protect other people and obviously myself and family, but at that point I was working from home, so I
Yeah.
rarely went out, maybe once a week and that's really how I am now. Like I really, unless I have to go out and get something, I usually don't leave the house until Fridays when, because Brittany usually goes grocery shopping on Sundays or sometimes Mondays, and then on Fridays I usually cook, like do something on the grill or something. So that's my time to, go out and get the stuff. So I'm gone for maybe an hour or so, and it's kind of been that way for a while. So I wasn't, other than working from home, my life didn't change drastically. But
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm almost at the point now where like should I go into the office and expose myself to all these germs so I can like almost like rehabilitate my immune system, because I feel like after the past 2 years it's just absolutely shot.
yeah,
Like if I get in
possibility.
contact with the bacteria or virus, I think it's gonna take over.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels like, experiencing this past year and having so many like stomach viruses and getting COVID too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready for 2023.
Yeah, me too.
Not that, yeah, I'm
It's
just
always,
ready. Like,
New Year's is always exciting, whether you have new goals or set out for yourself and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same vein where obviously like I don't want to go back to work like in the office. I have no desire at all because I can do my job from home easily.
yeah,
And
no
and
question.
going and before I left my previous job and we had to go 2 days a week, I genuinely felt like I was distracted a lot more than I was
Oh,
at
yeah.
home, which is crazy to think. But I turn on the TV and have something playing in the background and vaguely pay attention to it while I'm working. But you know, uh, since my son Kellen started kindergarten, like he's experiencing like he's been at home for 5 years and now he's going to school and getting all these germs. And he had like literally the first month of school, he had like a really bad cough, like one of those like crunchy coughs, and like it was going on like the third or fourth week, and I was like, we should probably take him to the doctor because it's not getting necessarily worse, but it's also not getting better. And then sure enough, like 2 or 3 days later, it got better. And I had a little bit of a cough from him from that, but it only lasted like a couple of days, and I was just eating cough drops like candy. So, but I don't know.
I guess, yeah, you have it better because you have a kid. You get all those kid germs.
Yeah,
So like they're pretty much doing your bidding and going out into the world and bringing home some nice some nice bacteria, some nice viruses for your body to fight. Make sure it's up to snuff.
yep.
It's
So
like
because he'll snuggle with me and he'll get in my face and like he'll cough,
breathe on you.
and I'm just like I'm gonna wake up feeling like shit. Then sure enough, I usually do. So, but
Yeah, when our friends had their first kid, like the first kid in our friend group, I got sick like 2 or 3 times,
yeah,
presumably from that kid, just because kid germs,
yeah, they're horrible.
disgusting. But how's your week? How you doing?
It was good. Fortnite Kid on YouTube. Hey, how you doing?
Kid, what's up?
It was good. Pretty standard week. I'm feeling like I'm getting closer and closer to having all the Christmas shopping done.
Okay, you
There,
still got some left?
yeah, there's still some things I gotta do, and I do this to myself every freaking year. But I've got 2 weeks, so or a little less than 2 weeks. So I got some time.
Less
But
than 2 weeks. You
yeah,
have
um,
13 days, 12 days.
yeah, I just don't want to. I feel like every time I'm usually like scrounging at the last like 2 days to get stuff for either a couple more things for the kids or stuff for like relatives and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try this year my best to not do that to myself because that is not fun usually. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting pretty close to the end. What about you? Are you Christmas shopping wise? Are you pretty good?
Yeah, yeah, we're pretty wrapped up. We finished it up this weekend. There might be one more thing I want to get, but
Yeah,
pretty much done at this point. Feels
Okay.
good.
cool. But yeah, other than that, pretty solid week. Played some games, finished up some games, and
See that? Yeah,
yeah.
I see that. See your list.
So you want to dive into what we've been playing?
Yeah, why don't you start? I see you had a couple of games that have kind of been in your list for a few weeks. I want to
Yeah.
see if you
So I think this time last week I had not finished up Callisto. I ended up finishing it that night. And my thoughts pretty much remain the same with that game. I don't even know if this game's going to be in my top 10 to be honest. I think that back half of the game, like once you no spoilers, but once you get to like the snowy area, I mean the whole planet's snowy, but once you get outside, I think it falls apart. I didn't really like the stealth section that much.
Oh, really?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was like really long, or and maybe it just because you're underground, so like maybe that just I generally think that underground areas in games aren't super fun.
The mines.
The mines, yeah, and Resident Evil
the
stuff like that.
sewers.
So I don't know. That first half, man, was so promising. I really liked the combat. But the fact that I fought the same boss 4 times, and that last boss fight was more or less the same as those 4. Like I just thought those boss fights were terrible in that game, which was a bummer because I was really looking forward to the game. But I mean, I'm glad I finished it. It's not a huge undertaking. I don't think it's worth $70 like we mentioned. I think if you were to get it that game sharing or something with a friend or family member or find it used in a couple of months, I think it's best to go that route. Plus, there's no new game plus. I mean, just a lot of things didn't hit for me.
No replayability.
Yeah, no replayability. No, no like awesome guns you unlock at the end, like secret weapons and stuff like that. So all the kind of staples of survival horror games did not make it into this one. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've got a season pass coming where they're gonna add that stuff, but I mean, extra $30 or whatever it is for a $70 game that's super short. Second half is just bad. Yeah, super bummed out because man, I was really looking forward to this thing.
Yeah, I feel I get what you're saying. I didn't dislike the second half as much as you.
Yeah,
I don't think I still hated the boss fights. I think that's like the worst part of the game. I think they should have cut 3 out of the 4 of those the 2 head boss fights.
Yeah.
I think they just should have come out. They didn't need them. Just to be frank.
maybe twice. Maybe twice is fine, but 3 to 4 times you have to do it. Plus, like the weapon swapping is terrible. God, it's awful. Maybe I'm just thinking. Maybe I like the areas a lot more in the second half than I'm just thinking about. But those boss fights were just so bad. Yeah, they soured it for me hard. So.
Yeah, I think like all the problems with the game are one, the game was probably rushed a little bit, and they didn't get to add in all the new game plus stuff that really makes like a horror game like this worthwhile.
Yeah,
it's like being able to replay it with new weapons and I don't know, just more firepower essentially because that's just fun. And then the second thing is, I think Glenn Schofield has a little bit of hubris. I think he's a good I think he's good at what he does, but I think he got lost in the vision of trying to make it a very authentic horror experience.
Yeah.
And it kind of compromised the game portion a little bit too much, like with the weapon swapping.
Yeah.
And, some of the animations just like taking a little bit too long.
Yeah, I'm like going back to the boss fights. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with like a one-hit boss or something like that. But just the fact
I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it was one time, sure, and there's other bosses in the game that were completely different,
Right.
then that's fine. Like, I think a good example of like a good boss fight is like in The Evil Within, whenever you come across like the hair lady monster for the first time and you have to like run away from it, and if it catches you, you die instantly. I think something like that is very effective in like being scary and tense. But in this case, where you're constantly having to bob and weave and dodge and also fight with the inventory, it just makes out for a not scary and not tense and encounter, just a bad design.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm debating whether this is going to end up in my top 10, but played a lot of good games recently.
Yeah.
And they might take its spot. So we'll see. I mean, I didn't walk away too disappointed. I still had fun. Thought the first half was great. Thought the second half was good, aside from the boss fights. And I don't know. I got my like survival horror fix until next month.
Yeah.
Dead Space.
And again, like I don't, obviously we mention all the time, but not having to spend a full 70 on it was definitely a nice touch. But
oh yeah,
but I can't.
Yeah,
if
I spent 70, then
yeah, I can't recommend it. It's a decent survival horror. Obviously, we'll be getting Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space next month, so yeah, I'm more excited for those. But yeah, I think the first half of that game is really good, and it just stumbles in the second.
Yeah, agreed.
Nick, tell me about Vampire Survivors.
Oh my god. You mean one of the most addicting games ever aside from Marvel Snap? It's really good. It's super super addicting. For those who haven't played, the premise of it is essentially that you want to survive for 30 minutes, and there's like an endless wave of vampire type enemies coming at you. You start off with just one weapon, and that weapon triggers automatically. You're just playing with a joystick, and you don't really have to use anything else to play the game. So you can essentially play it one-handed, which is really cool. But every time you level up, you'll get a random choice, or it'll like randomize, and we'll get a choice of 3 different options, whether those are weapons, items, or just like general upgrades. And you can kind of like continuously either build on weapons that you already have and upgrade them, or you can choose to have a breadth of weapons. And you kind of like take it from there, and like it starts out with with a few enemies coming at you from all around your screen, and then by the end of the game, and I ended up getting to 30 minutes, I ended up finishing it, or I guess I beat the game, but there's like a lot of other stuff to do. By the end of the game, you are constantly like surrounded by like 1,000 enemies, and it's just like this little circle that you're in, and you're just hoping that like all your weapon cooldowns end like at the same time, so you can like expand your circle a little bit, and then it shrinks, and then your cooldowns all stop and everything goes off at once, and then you can like push back a little bit. But it was like my heart was racing for the last 5 minutes. Like when I was going from minute 25 to minute 30, like I was just on the edge of my seat. Like I did that thing where like you're sitting back, and you're sitting back on the couch playing your game, and then when it hits that pivotal moment, you're like, all right, I gotta sit up a little bit. I gotta put the elbows on the knees. I gotta stare at the screen.
You gotta lock in.
Can't look away. I gotta lock in. And yeah, I finished it, and
Sweet.
super, super fun game. I'm excited to jump back in. I even downloaded the mobile version, but it's just not as like reactive as the Xbox version is.
Okay.
It's a little bit harder to play. But yeah, it's a really great game. I wouldn't say it's like a roguelike because it's the same enemies coming at you, essentially. Like every few minutes a different set of enemies will come at you, but you'll get gold, you'll accrue golds throughout a play period, and then you can use that to have permanent upgrades on your character, and then you can use that gold to unlock new characters, which start off with different weapons and all that stuff. But yeah, great game. If you don't have Game Pass, it's like only $5, so it's a incredible steal for what it is. Like I don't know. There's a lot to it. I've really only like seriously played one level, and I think there's a bunch, but the goal is just to get to survive for 30 minutes.
Okay.
So,
and it's free on mobile, right?
yeah, it's free on mobile. It's not like ad heavy or anything. There's just like a caveat, like if you want to come back, like if you want to revive yourself, which you can't do in the main game unless you unless you buy it with golds, or like there's like an upgrade that you can get that gives you an extra life.
Okay.
But on the mobile version, you can choose to watch an ad, and then you can revive.
Okay.
So it's like it's not overbearing, but it's like it gives you the option to kind of get another chance.
Okay.
If you watch an ad, but
cool. Yeah, I need to check it out at least try it once. See how it
yeah,
is.
give it a shot.
Heard some pretty good things about it.
Yeah, you'll fall into the rabbit hole.
I finished up Bayonetta 3. Turns out I had one mission left, of course.
I figured you were close.
Yeah, I mean, I knew because I kind of circled around the map and was coming up on like where the prologue starts on the map, whatever. Yeah, the entire like last mission is just one giant long boss fight, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of split up into different sections, so you get a little bit of the giant monster fighting, and then your typical action playing as Bayonetta.
Yeah.
I think you switched to
Viola.
To Viola at some point. I didn't expect it. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I didn't expect it to end the way it did. But it sets it up nicely for future games. Because they said there's gonna be more after this anyways. So, yeah, interesting way to finish it or for it to end. But yeah, I really like the game. I don't know if maybe playing all three of those games back to back was the best idea in the world, because I did get a little bit burnt out halfway through this one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And Bayonetta 2 was actually really short compared to the rest of them. Like I think I finished Bayonetta 1 like around 10 hours, and Bayonetta 2 was right around 7. And this one it clocked me in at 22 hours, but I think that was because I must have left it on there or something when like I paused it or something like that, because it definitely wasn't.
That's long.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Have you finished it, right?
Yeah, I was like 14 or 15 hours.
Okay.
Maybe less.
Yeah, I must have like left it on or something one night when I went to bed and forgot about it, or maybe I don't know, maybe I left it on the pause screen or something and it counted towards my playtime or something like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think the combat, not much has changed from the last few weeks I've talked about it, but combat's really solid. I think there's too many weapons. I think there's just too many,
for sure.
Too many weapons. I like having options, of course, but every level you're getting like a new weapon pretty much. So it's a little overbearing with trying to learn like new combos and stuff like that, and figure out which ones you like the best. And then obviously the story is just kind of all over the place. And
it's a weird story.
Yeah, we've talked about it before too, but I mean the combat is what's important, and I think it's some of the best in the series. Still don't love playing as Viola, but obviously she's not the main focus of the game. She's
in like 3 or 4 chapters.
Yeah. So nothing too crazy. Nick,
Sorry,
tell me. You're fine. Tell me about Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, so I haven't played much so far. I've maybe played an hour. But damn, like I don't know, man. This game pretty fun. Kind of plays like Tony Hawk.
Nice.
Pretty awesome. The combat's like obviously super early in, so the only thing I'm doing right now is like the lock on attack, and then I can circle around enemies and damage them that way. I don't know how much the combat expands, but it's fun just like going around and like finding these little rails to grind on and
Yeah.
bouncing around, and I'm having a great time with it. I'm coming at it from the perspective of a non-Sonic player who understands that 3D Sonics are not the best received games in the world. So like I'm expecting that level of jank,
Yeah.
but I'm having a surprising amount of fun with it so far.
Sweet. Well, that's what I figured. Like I think I expected the Sonic to a review around a 6 or 7 because that's what it's always reviewed at.
It's consistent.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very consistent mediocrity. Um, and this one looked to be like pretty decent. Obviously, it was really janky, and I think IGN just absolutely destroyed the hopes of this game when they were doing their IGN month or whatever first.
Oh my God,
I don't know if that was IGN's fault. I don't know if that was Team Sonic's fault and what they allowed them to show, like why they allowed them to show just that ugly mess. But yeah, that first covering was horrible. I don't know why they ever agreed to that, but
yeah, that was like the worst showcase.
yeah, it was terrible. Like the best, I think the best showing of that game was like from like the
It's like Gamescom or something.
yeah, his other game. No, I think was it like the direct, one of the Nintendo directs that popped up showed like Sonic, and it was like a 2 minute trailer that actually looked really good because they showed off like the other like levels like within like that you could find like within the games or like the typical Sonic levels outside of like the open world, which does look pretty fun.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Um.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you like it. I figured you would.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fun. Been a great time. Yeah, haven't played much of that, but I did get into a game, an indie game called Signalis,
Okay.
and I bought it on the Switch. It's like $20. I think it's on Game Pass as well. But Harrison, I think you'll like this game. It's like an old school Resident Evil
Ooh, okay.
type game where you play. It's like they're called like replicas. They're kind of like robots or of sorts,
Okay.
kind of like AI robots. But you're essentially looking for somebody, and you crash at this place, and then you go into this facility, and you get like your pistol, you get like your shotgun, and there's like these, and I'm not explaining this very well, but it's laid out like a Resident Evil where you'll get to an area and there's like 6 slots for keys,
Okay.
and you have to like go around and combine stuff together
Okay.
and
I like that.
create keys and that kind of stuff. And like you have a limited inventory, you only have 6 spaces, so you're constantly going back to your chest and your save room to play around with your inventory, and it kind of builds from there where like you build out your weapon arsenal, and you kind of like go deeper underground. And this is one of the games where like it actually does the underground sections pretty good.
Okay. Is
Like
it third person?
No,
is
it's top down.
Top down?
It's
Okay.
it's like a shifted top down, stagnant camera, room to room type.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like similar to Resident Evil 1, but I guess it's more top down situation
Okay.
than Resident Evil 1 is. But I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think because I started playing Resident Evil 1 on the Switch.
Yeah.
I know you did too, and,
Yeah.
and we both never finished it. But like I didn't love it that much.
Yeah.
Thought it was a little bit janky, but this one feels really good.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Clocked in about 6 hours, so it's a pretty short game.
Okay.
think that's the perfect length for like a survival horror game of this caliber,
Yeah.
like an indie game like this. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It does puzzles in a way that makes you think, but it makes you feel smart
Okay.
when you solve them.
I like feeling smart.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like feeling smart? But it like I never had to really look up too much because you would find an item and you'd have that eureka moment of like, okay, this item can be used with that thing that I got earlier and I stored away. Now I
Okay.
can combine them and use them on the store or use them somewhere else and get this key for the store and kind of that like really rewarding cycle of getting a key to a door and then in that room is another key to another door.
Okay.
Like, okay, I like this. I like this a lot. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this game. I'm sitting on it, seeing where it's gonna fall on my list.
And it came out this year?
Yeah, it came out this year.
Okay.
I think it came out like a few months ago.
Okay. I remember seeing it on Game Pass, I think. And I think that's why
Yeah.
it sounds familiar when you mentioned it earlier. I'll
It
check it
got
out.
good reviews too.
I'll check it out. I need some I need some smaller things to play over my break, so I'll look into that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, like once you really get into it, once you like get past the first like 20 minutes, because that part is pretty slow. You're just kind of you're reading a lot of like notebooks and stuff.
Yeah.
And really up until you get the gun, that's really where like the the fun begins, so to
Okay.
speak. But yeah, great game. Like
Sweet. Glad to
this
hear.
is almost like what I wanted Callisto Protocol to be,
Okay.
except just on like an indie level.
Yeah.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. And then before I know I played a little bit of High on Life, and I know you did, but before we jump into those, I tried out the golf mode.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Nintendo
that.
Switch Sports.
Okay.
And it plays like pretty similarly to Wii Sports, which I think is a good thing because
Yes.
the Wii Sports Wii Golf is like
It's
that's like the
perfect.
pinnacle.
It's perfect for
Pinnacle.
what it was. For
Yeah.
what it is, you know.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. They really didn't add any courses or any additional holes.
Is it the same courses?
Same courses? There's
Love it.
21 holes.
I love it.
I think they like might have reworked a few of them, but I played a little bit of the like online elimination mode as well.
Okay.
And that was really fun. You like play through, I think it's like 5 or 6 holes, and
Okay.
in each hole, like a handful of people will get eliminated. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Excited to show all my friends who are like super into Wii golf that I played with in college, and we can now do it online, which would be fun.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I'm glad it's good. I'm glad they kept just did the same levels because I think that's pretty smart, pretty nostalgic, and
Yeah, like I don't know. I think they definitely should have added at least another set of 9 holes.
yeah.
But
I guess they always can. Do you think this is gonna be the last update for this game, or do you think they're gonna? I mean, it sold pretty well, so. You think this is
I think
it?
so.
Okay.
Unless they added basketball. I don't know why I'm thinking basketball, but
Yeah. Or like disc golf, like that was fun.
disc golf was pretty good.
Yeah, like, that was pretty
on
solid.
Resort.
I mean, they could continue to. I mean, I can't imagine the development is too intense to keep putting stuff out.
Probably just the online that they have to build out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like all the multiplayer stuff for, other than like Splatoon, where they're constantly giving you stuff. They don't really update their stuff too much. Like even Animal Crossing, like they got the one big DLC that you had to pay for.
And that
That's
was it.
Like one of the best selling, the best selling Animal Crossing and one of the best selling Switch games. They just didn't do anything with it. It's weird to me, like their multiplayer stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about it soon, but like with Mario Strikers, like who cares about an update that adds 2 characters in a map? Like I don't think the maps are any different other than aesthetics. So I just don't understand why they're choosing to parse this out when they could have just included it all and had a more complete experience. Like,
Yeah.
not everything needs to be content dripped.
Yeah. No,
Like
not
just
something like
just
this.
release a game.
Yeah.
It it's obviously complete. Like, it seemed like all this stuff was already done, but they just held it back, which
When
is
did this
really
game come
annoying.
out? Was it in April or May?
It was June.
June? I mean,
Yeah.
they could have like they could have just waited to put it out in like September, and then just launched with. That way, it was complete and fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very weird, but I'm glad it's solid. At least it's not all janky or stuff like that. I guess before we do High on Life, Nick, let's hear more about Marvel Snap.
Not too much more to say. I'm currently playing through the Battle Pass or whatever it's called. I don't know if it's called the Battle Pass or something else. Season Pass. I don't think I like this season as much. I don't think I like the unlocks.
Is it you don't
Is it
like it,
too much?
or is the gameplay starting to slow down for you a bit?
No, I'm still liking the gameplay. Like, and I'm really enjoying like trying out different decks depending on like the challenges and stuff, and like kind of like looking into different builds and everything.
Yeah,
But the pass just feels less rewarding. It feels like I'm getting less like cards, like variant cards. It's really like um it's like a lot of the oh my gosh, what is it called? Like the profile pictures, like the avatars.
oh yeah. Like the icons and avatar pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff,
Yeah, that's
which
kind of
wasn't really present in the last season.
yeah. I haven't played any of the battle. I didn't buy it this time. I think I'm more or less done with Marvel Snap. Just I got a lot of other stuff to play in, but I mean it's one of those like quick games that if you're taking a little poo poo or something, just play, knock out a couple rounds. But how do you feel? Because it seems like they're doing a battle pass every single month, right? It seems like the gist. Like
Yeah,
I don't know at what point you're spending
20 bucks.
$20 a year on this game. Like the battle pass is only 4 weeks long. Like how long do you foresee yourself paying for the battle pass each time? Especially if the second month, the majority of the content is just icons. Like that's kind of lame.
Icons and like the sayings that you can have and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, yeah, this might be the last month that I actually buy the battle pass. It all depends on like whether I'm still playing
Yeah.
as much as I am a month from now. And like I'm still playing a lot. Like I'll still play, 10 games a day, something like that.
Because
I'm still
like
enjoying it.
there was like a $30 thing you could buy, and I was like, why would someone spend $30 and you don't really get that much? It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I don't know. You have those whales out there that just want every little piece of content in the game, but yeah, it's a solid game. I think I'm just about done with it. Like I said, I don't know if it's gonna fall in my top 10 or not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm still loving it. Still unlocking new cards, so I still have something to work towards. Once I unlock everything, I'll probably fall off. That's what typically happens with me. Like once I get all this stuff, then I'm pretty much done. But we'll see. We'll see when that happens.
Okay, cool. And then obviously the kind of the big game of the week is High on Life. It dropped yesterday. A weird time it dropped. I kept waiting all day to play, and it unlocked at like 8 o'clock Eastern time. It was a weird time for him to unlock. It was super strange, but I put about 2-ish hours into it. I mean, it starts off like right away, like just
It does.
I mean, in the open, I don't want to spoil it, but like even the opening part is really cool. The way they kind of pan out while you're playing the game or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's a first person shooter, which I really haven't seen a lot on this game. I haven't really paid too much attention. It's very It's very Rick and Morty esque. Obviously, it's made by the creator,
Oh yeah.
and it's voiced by Rick, right? Morty.
Morty.
Yeah, Morty.
Yeah.
So it's
Sounds like
very,
Morty.
yeah, it's very much that style of humor. Fart jokes, dick jokes, stuff like that. So I mean, if you don't like that type of humor, then I probably wouldn't recommend playing it. But it's pretty funny. Like I had some chuckles here and there. It's
Yeah.
very funny. It feels like a 360 game in a good way, I think.
It really does.
And graphically, it looks okay. It's not super sharp, but it looks pretty good. It's like, you go into this alien world and it happens like all within like 10 minutes. You get a talking gun or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's more than I expected it to be. I mean, there's like, there's like a dodge mechanic you get like a
Oh wow.
you get like a grappling hook at one point, and this is all within like the first hour of the game. And then you get a second gun too, which I just unlocked last night. So it's really cool. I like it so far. I don't know how well the humor is going to hold up. I don't know how long this game is. I don't know how well it's going to hold up, or if it's just going to be kind of
getting annoying
because there is. I mean, it's just like Rick and Morty. It's nonstop talking. Like the gun is constantly talking to you. And like there was even this one point where you're doing a mission and you have to find this guy and talk to him or whatever, and because it kind of when you're talking to people, it does the Fallout thing where it kind of locks you into while you're talking to him, because there is like a dialogue tree as too. This dude talked for like 10 minutes straight. I mean, it was like 10 minutes, just nonsense. But it was funny. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to hold up for 10 hours or however long the game is. But so far, I'm enjoying it. It's funny. It's goofy. It's Rick and Morty-esque.
It's very, very Rick and Morty. I played it before this, and I got up into the right after the first boss.
Okay.
Right after you get the knife and beat the first boss.
That knife is pretty funny. It's a good knife.
So, did you kill the people when you got the knife? Did you have to?
I did kill them. Yeah.
Okay, I did too. I didn't know if like there was an option of not killing them.
Oh, but... I'm not sure if there wasn't.
Okay.
After you fought that boss, did you then kill like that second boss ish?
I didn't.
Okay, yeah, I killed it. I killed her.
Oh, you did?
It's funny because like for the most part you can't shoot other like NPCs or whatever, and the gun will be like, "Don't. Like, what are you? Are you a maniac? Like, stop." Did you kill the kid?
I didn't, but the kid died.
Oh,
someone else shot him.
You could totally shoot him. If you click on him like 10 times, you'll eventually fire and kill him. And then if you talk to his mom, it turns out that he's actually like 30 years old.
Oh, really? Because I talked to his mom and she was like, "Thank you for not killing my kid, but you can totally kill him if you want to. He's a bit of an asshole."
Yeah, she was like, "Yeah, I told you to stop, calling people whatever." And she's like, "Yeah, he's not actually a kid. He's actually like 30 years old. We just aged super slowly. So he was still like in his youth, whatever. So he's not actually a kid." And then there's an achievement you get too for killing him.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
So it's stuff like that, like where the game will really react to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like it'll like, "Oh my god, you just killed a kid," or like.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I like it so far. Again, the combat feels decent for what it is. It's not too hard. Like
generic.
Yeah, generic
Xbox 360, PS3 combat.
Yeah, I mean it opens up a little bit when you get like the grappling hook and you get the dodge and stuff like that. And I don't know what other kinds of tools you get for combat. I did get a shotgun. So yeah, it starts to unlock. It starts to open up a little bit. I hope it's not a super long game because again I just don't know if it's going to hold up for that long. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
good Game Pass game.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You want
Anything
to?
else?
No, I think that's everything I've been playing. I opened up Elden Ring, and I walked around in the world.
How was it? Tell me about it.
It was great. I miss it, man.
Where'd you open up? Where were you?
I think I was.
You in Limgrave?
I was. What's the monster? What's the Oh my gosh, the Evergoal where you get the sword, like the main sword we used in the game.
Oh, the Bloodhound Greatsword.
Bloodhound. Yeah, I was at that Bloodhound Evergoal, and just kind of
Nice.
warped. I kind of warped to a couple different areas and stuff like that, and just playing a little bit, killing some enemies. Game still feels. Sometimes when you come back to a game after a long time, like it almost feels bad to play. Like,
Yeah.
when I was playing through the Resident Evil DLC when I first started, it felt kind of bad. I don't know. It was, but eventually it got on me after about 30 minutes or so. But yeah, with that one, with Elden Ring, I started to gush, but it just felt like it was like riding a bike, man. Yeah, it felt so good. I'm ready for DLC. I'm just ready for it.
Yeah. Are you gonna play the Coliseum?
I don't know. I'm not a big like PvP guy. I may try it at some point.
Got some cool modes. Got
Yeah.
like a team based mode where it's like a team deathmatch.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably try it at some point. I almost just started over, or started a completely new file.
Oh,
But I was like, no,
Agreed.
I don't have time to do this. But
I can't get sucked in.
Nick, before we dive into the news, you want to talk quickly about Nintendo's year-end review?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do yours as well?
I did, yeah. Yep, I saw you did yours. You put it on Twitter. Because PlayStation also did one as well, but I haven't played PlayStation much this year, so I don't worry about it. But yeah.
God of War was my number one for PlayStation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so my three most played games of 2022 were Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Triangle Strategy.
Nice. Mine was almost identical. I had Xenoblade 3, Pokemon, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Was my third most.
Nice.
And then my 3+ years of play is Luigi's Mansion. I guess I've played that for 3 years. Mario Kart Live. We haven't played it as much as we did last year, but we still dabble in that a little bit.
Mhm.
And then Fortnite. I had tried to play Fortnite, but I couldn't get my Epic account linked to it, so I didn't actually play my normal file. So I guess that counts. I'm not really sure, but
Okay. Guess you opened up the game.
yeah.
Mine was Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Clubhouse, 51 games, and Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Nice.
I always check out that game every now and then.
Okay.
Make sure it's doing okay.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny that both PlayStation and Nintendo dropped on the same day.
Yeah. I was waiting on it because I remember they did it last year, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm sure they'll do it again this year.
Mhm.
And then sure enough, I saw your thing, whatever. But
Yeah, I realized I put a surprising amount of time into Pokemon Legends. It's 48 hours
yeah, I think I was
getting
around
all those
30-ish.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it was a solid game.
It was.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the news. We had the Game Awards this last week. We streamed it. It was a great time. I think it was one of the best Game Awards and really Jeff Keighley led events. One of the best ones in a long time. I thought it was really solid.
Yeah.
It was still really long.
It's still 3 hours.
Yeah, it was still 3 hours. I thought it was way shorter than that. Of course, Christopher Judge added 20 minutes worth of speech onto there, which, that's fine.
All he did was he gave away 20 more Steam Decks.
Yeah, he did. So good for him. Maybe that was the goal all along. But I could probably listen to that dude speak all day. He's just got one of those voices.
He's got a great voice.
Glad to see he won best performance because that was
well deserved.
Yeah.
And then obviously Elden Ring steps away with Game of the Year.
I mean, God of War won literally every other award, so
yeah, it's only fair.
Yeah, it was weird. There's I mean, we talked about it before, but obviously, like, even Stray being nominated for Game of the Year was just utter ridiculousness. Like, come on. Xenoblade should have won best music. It got snubbed.
Did you see it, like, on Twitter? There was like a graph showing like the amount of tracks in each of these games, and like, you know, like God of War had, you know, 10 or 15 tracks. A few of the other games had, you know, 5 to 15 actual tracks, and then Xenoblade just has like 140.
Yeah, it's crazy. It should have won. I honestly,
it really should have.
I think Elden Ring should have won music over God of War, but that's just me. So yeah, that's where I felt like there was a little bit of Sony bias within the Game Awards.
I mean, the fact that Stray got nominated.
Yeah, that should have won maybe best indie game, I guess, and that should have been.
No, I don't even think it should have won. Like,
what else was nominated? I can't remember. Tunic,
Neon White, Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah, Cult. Okay, maybe you're right.
Both of which I played and loved.
Yeah,
like, Stray was fun. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get the whole Stray thing. I really don't. But glad to see Elden Ring came on top, because that game was just incredible. Obviously, I love God of War too, but the Elden Ring was just. I mean, we've gushed about it for forever now, but. So yeah, shout out to Elden Ring. Shout out to Bill Clinton for getting So apparently, I looked into this guy. Like, he's like a YouTuber and stuff that kind of just
he's
like a troll. Yeah, he's just like a troll, because he's like, there's one like TikTok I was watching. He's like, yeah, the Bill Clinton kid's like in my class, and he doesn't have that accent or anything like that. He's just
he doesn't have that accent.
No. So yeah. Utter, like, just we had posted like our reactions to Elden Ring winning, and one person was like, I want to see your reaction to the Bill Clinton clip. And I was like, honestly, there really wasn't, because we were kind of like done at that point, and then we hear like Bill Clinton, and we're like, wait, what? So
you need to go back and like watch the acceptance speech again.
Yeah, he like sneaks up on stage. Like, you could see him walking from the crowd.
And he looks so out of place when you're looking for him. It's just like this kid just standing back there, and he's kind of like shuffling around.
Yeah, but as funny as that was, like, if that kid wanted to do ill intent, like, that's kind of scary, because there was like absolutely no security. And people were like commenting on Twitter about like he was within like striking distance of Miyazaki. Like, come on, man! Like, you cannot let that happen. Protect that man at all costs.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit scary. I'm sure they'll probably have a little bit more of a
process.
Yeah, more of a process.
They'll do a head count once everyone's on stage and be like, okay, there's one more than there should be. We gotta go.
Yeah. It's like, all right, how many? If you win, how many is going to be in your posse? 5. All right. Who's this kid? But I mean, it was pretty funny. But yeah, Nick, you want to, before we dive into the games and stuff, you want to switch over?
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff shown off here.
Yeah, a lot of good announcements.
What are some of the kind of the highlight? I mean, you've got them highlighted here, but start with something and we'll talk about it.
Big one for me was Hades 2.
Yeah.
That was a huge announcement that I didn't expect coming. I mean, Supergiant has never done a sequel to a game before. And I mean, of course, like, they would do it with Hades because it was extremely popular, but
yeah, best-selling one.
Yeah.
Makes sense too.
Yeah, this game looks phenomenal. And like it came out of left field, and it was genuinely surprising.
Yeah.
A great Game Award announcement. Good way to, I think this was like earlier on in the show.
Yeah.
And it was just a great way to start off the show.
Yeah. I mean, especially the first half was like really solid.
Mm-hmm.
We got to look at Bayonetta Origins, like totally out of left field. I thought, like, very, like, we kind of knew there was like a spin-off game coming that was rumored, but I didn't expect it to be something like this.
And coming this soon too.
Yeah, like super soon. Comes out in March, March 17th, I believe. Which also, what else comes out in March? I think it's something else comes out on the same day, which is like pretty high profile.
Resident Evil 4 comes out in March.
March, okay.
maybe like 24th.
Okay. Yeah, it looks really cool. It is. I looked on the eShop. It is a $60 game, so it's a full price game. So I don't know. If
Yeah, I don't
that's
know.
gonna be worth it or not. I have no idea. But it's gonna be released like physical and digital, so full price, whatever. It looks cool. Like I like the art style. Obviously completely different than a traditional Bayonetta game, so it's pretty cool. I think.
Yeah, looks pretty good. I don't know if I'll be picking it up depending on how it reviews and
Yeah.
what the impressions are, and whether it's worth it. But yeah, glad they're taking this franchise and doing something different with it.
Yeah.
Think it's I don't know. It's cool to see. One of the bigger announcements was from Mr. Miyazaki himself. Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon is coming in 2023.
Yep.
Harrison, I've never played Armored Core. I'm
Yeah,
assuming you've never played.
I've never
Armored
had. Well,
Core.
I kind of have. There's a game on the 360. It was like one of the launch games. It's called Chrome Hounds. It's made by From. It's not Armored Core. It's not part of that series, but it's a mech based game. And I remember it being okay. I don't have a lot of memories of it, but I remember it being pretty decent. But no, I've never played like a Armored Core game before. I even looked it up. I think it was last night while I was waiting for High on Life to come be able to be played. I was looking for it, and they don't have it on the shop at all on the Xbox. And it came out like on the 360 and stuff, so it's not like it was exclusive to PlayStation or anything like that. So I don't know. I wanna at least play one of these before, at least 5, I guess, before this comes out. But it seems like it's pretty hard to find, and I think it's like $80 or $90 on Amazon and eBay. So it's a rare-ish game. But maybe they'll, I don't know, maybe they'll put it out, since it's coming out, just to give people like a refresher or a way to jump into the franchise.
Yeah, it's a bold move to continue the numbering of the games and not just like reboot it. Like I know this is it's a standalone story and everything. Like you don't need to play the other Armored Core games to get the gist of the story, but yeah, they're just like, all right, Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
Good luck finding the other 5. Who cares?
Yeah, and there's apparently there's 30 games in this franchise, like a bunch of spin-offs and stuff like that. So there's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. I watched some YouTube videos and watched some of the gameplay, and it looks like, classic mech gameplay, but there's a lot of focus on actually building out your mech. Yeah. There's a lot of customization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trailer looked amazing. It looked beautiful. Like, they were referencing like cinders and stuff. So I was like, what is this game? And then they finally shut it off or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a very bold move. I think it's very cool that they can make this game again. Obviously, as From is one of our favorite developers right now, and have been for a while. I'm excited to at least follow it along, like in previews and stuff like that. And I don't know, it'll probably be a day one for me, I think.
Yeah, I think at this point, like I will play anything that From Software puts out. And yeah, I know this isn't like their main team. I know Miyazaki like isn't directly working on this game. He more so did like the planning and the formation of ideas essentially, but didn't like do the direct production or anything like that. But still super excited. I mean, I'll check it out day one. They have my confidence at this point.
Oh yeah.
In anything that they do. I think that's probably where their head is at as well. It's like, okay, we've done, Dark Souls 3, we've done Sekiro, we've done Bloodborne, we've done Elden Ring.
Yeah.
We have the confidence of the player. They know we can put out good stuff. Let's do something different. And I'm glad this isn't taking the Souls approach. I'm glad it's not just going to be like a Souls version of whatever this series used to be.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're kind of like sticking to what this game was and, just making it better.
Yeah.
Because The other games didn't review very well. Like they were like in the mid 70s,
No.
something around that. But
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we don't get a lot of mech games, and we don't get a lot of like games like that go into that much detail about how it's built and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, they've got my confidence as a developer, and I'll check anything out that they do at this point.
yeah,
Until they burn me, which I
until
don't think it's possible. So yeah, I thought that was a solid way to end the show. I know when From came up, obviously people wanted, either it's Elden Ring DLC or maybe even Bloodborne or something like that. But yeah, it was cool to see something different.
yeah. And then we got a few other heavy hitters. We got Death Stranding 2.
Looks bonkers.
It's just as confusing as the first. I need to go back and play that.
I wonder
PS5
if it'll be the same style of gameplay or if it'll be something completely new.
I don't know. It could be completely different. Knowing Kojima.
Yeah.
Kind of hoping it's something different, but
yeah, I need to play the first one after seeing this. It looks really good. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We finally got to look at Ken Levine's new studio, the game Judas, the maker of the original maker of BioShock. Looks like BioShock.
BioShock.
Very excited for this game. A little nervous because obviously BioShock Infinite was not as well regarded as like the first one or even the second one. I think, in my opinion, I didn't click with the combat as much. But I think I've got pretty high hopes for this game. It looks really good.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. I'm at a point now where all these developers who made these extremely good games in 2007, 2008, with Dead Space, BioShock.
Yeah.
It just feels impossible for them to recreate that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
To live up to it. Like with Callisto, like it's from the makers of Dead Space, but it certainly doesn't live up to the quality and to the feeling of Dead Space. And hopefully Judas can kind of capture that magic without like riffing off of it too much and just being like a direct copy of it. Because I want it to be something different, but I wanted to have that feeling that BioShock gives you when you first enter the world and you see the wrench in the crib.
Yeah.
Or the gun in the crib.
Yeah.
See all that stuff. Like I want them to it's a hard ask, but like recreate that without ripping it off.
Yeah. Yeah, that is hard. It is definitely hard, but I think Ken Levine's really good at his craft. I mean, like you said, like BioShock, man, was just it's just one of the greatest games of all time. Like it's an incredible like first. You'll never really experience something like that again. I don't think like just walking into like this completely unknown world. It's atmospheric. It's scary. It's tense. It's not necessarily like a survival horror game, obviously, but it's still very tense.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those worlds where you want to know what happened. So yeah, hopefully they can give us something like that again. Because we were mentioning the tapes from last week from Callisto, and how you go into a room and they do such a good job of storytelling what happened in this room, whether it's through like the audio diary or just bodies laid out,
environmental storytelling.
Yeah, so. That's stuff that I really love. I think next year is kind of the resurgence of single player games. We had a lot this year, but yeah, I'm really excited. Did they confirm this is coming out next year, or did they give us a date? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Either, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, super excited for this game. It looks really good. What else? We got to look at Jedi Survivor. Coming out in March. Looks
phenomenal.
It looks amazing. I'm very excited. It looks a lot like the original. So there's dual wielding now. I've seen some thoughts about there because there's like the cross sword laser that you get, saber.
Mhm.
And some people are speculating that that may be like a heavy weapon, kind of. Um,
That could be cool.
so
Yeah.
that could be very interesting. Obviously, I really hope they lean more into the Dark Souls gameplay and not go away from that, because that's what I really loved um, about that style of gameplay. But yeah, I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's
it
on
was.
EA Play, so I think it's Game Pass, right?
Will that be Game Pass?
I think it is. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not because it's EA. Well, but EA Play's in Game Pass, so maybe it won't be day one. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure they'll.
Yeah,
announce
it
that
might
at
not be
some
day
point, but-
one because it. Yeah, I don't think it'll be an EA Play day one, but we'll see. Maybe it will.
Yeah, it looks really good. I'm super excited. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, this looks incredible. I'm excited about this one. This one's called Earthblade. It's from the creators of Celeste, one of my
Yes.
favorite games of all time. It's like a 2D platforming. I guess not so much platforming, but it's like combat. Almost looks like a Metroidvania. I listened to like an interview with the team, and they said it's not a Metroidvania, but they would understand if people called it that.
Yeah,
So, for lack of a better term, it's probably like a Metroidvania light.
light.
Sorts.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's you can't say Metroidvania because that's what people expect, but yeah, because you don't want to call it that when it may not necessarily be that. But if there's
Mm-hmm.
light aspects,
Sure.
yeah, because there's even stuff like in High in Life. There's, you get a new upgrade or a weapon, and all of a sudden you can go somewhere else. So like that's
You can
kind
go
of-
back and
That's kind of Metroidvania esque, but I definitely wouldn't call that game a Metroidvania. So there's obviously light elements of Metroidvanias, but
yeah.
yeah, it looks really good. I really liked Celeste. I think you liked it a little bit more than I did. But that gameplay, that game was really good.
Mm-hmm. And this is slated for 2024.
Yep.
So pretty far out.
Yeah.
And then the last big thing that I wanted to mention, there might be a few more that I'm missing, but Fire Emblem Engage, of course, is getting a season pass. Includes the three houses, the leaders. So Claude, Elgard, and Dimitri
Okay.
are all going to be emblems, so you can summon them. And then it's part one of the season pass, and there's part 2 and 3, which have more emblems that you can summon. And then part 4 has the story content,
Gotcha.
which is like, oh my god, it's every season pass is exactly the same. Like even Xenoblade 3, it's like, all right, part
Yeah.
1, here's a new character. Part 2, new character.
Yeah,
Part 4 next
Nintendo
year.
is very, very locked in on the style of Game Pass that they do.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But I mean,
I get it, but I don't know. Fire Emblem has always had downloadable content since Awakening. So it's nothing new.
yeah,
And it's always announced before the game comes out. So it's nothing to scuff about, but it's just funny. It's funny like seeing the exact same formula.
Yeah.
For all of Nintendo's games.
yeah. I'm sure Zelda will be the same way too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure there's probably some stuff that we.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16. That
Oh yeah,
that also got a new trailer. Looks pretty good.
yeah. It looks good. Looks good. I'm not super excited. I mean, I haven't played the last couple of Final Fantasies, so not super pumped for that. But I'll check it out. At least keep up with the previews when they start to drop. But
Yeah.
yeah. Just overall, I thought the show was really good. There wasn't a lot of,
Not a lot of out of place ads.
No, not a lot of out of place ads. I thought Al Pacino probably didn't need to be there. That was a little, I don't know. I mean, he's an older guy, so it's a little hard for the older people. The cast of the Last of Us show and game, them being on stage together was a little awkward.
Yeah.
That was
Felt
that
like
was-
there was like some animosity between them for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't know. That may just be what's his name? What's Joel's voice actors?
Oh, voice actor.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
I've heard he's a little pretentious, so maybe I don't know. That's what I've heard, but
Hmm.
Um,
I believe it.
but yeah, so I mean, but other than that, there wasn't too many like out of place like celebrities there.
Yeah.
They all felt, you know, kind of like they belonged, I guess. But yeah, I think it was a solid show. Definitely a step in the right direction for Jeff's events, because they've been kind of rocky here this last year or so. So definitely solid.
For sure.
You want to read the next one, Nick?
Yeah, so Sonic Frontiers they're doing pretty well. They sold 2.5 million copies in the first month, one of the fastest selling Sonic games ever. So if that's not like reason enough that they're on the right track, then I don't know what is. But hopefully they're taking that as a sign to do more of what they're doing, but just improve on it.
Yeah.
And improve on like the general like jankiness of the game.
Yeah.
And obviously not too far in, but there were some weird camera cuts when you like are running on rails.
Yeah.
And it feels like weirdly archaic, but it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. So it doesn't really matter. It's just like it looks really strange.
Okay.
There's a lot of that, and I'm
That's
sure
what I've
that'll
seen in some of the trailers. Even the trailers showed off like they were just some weird cuts.
Yeah.
I guess the cynic in me is the reason why it's selling so well is because it dropped to $30 within like the first 3 weeks. So I mean,
that might be it too
for Black Friday. So, yeah, it is what it is. But hey, I mean, glad to see it selling. Glad to see Sonic's getting its due. I guess I don't know.
Is it? Yeah, I guess it's deserved.
Nick, you want to read the next one, because I did not know what's in this update at all.
Yeah. So. And I'm actually going to pull this up too. Mario Sharkers Battle League got an update today. Bowser Jr. and Birdo have joined the roster.
Okay.
Alongside with some new gear and a new stadium. And I've not played Battle League, so I don't know how the stadiums impact the gameplay, but I'm assuming they're just aesthetic.
Okay.
So
I think so. That's cool.
Cool for the people who are still playing that game. I don't know. If you are, let us know.
Yeah, I would love to hear people that just did nothing for me when I played that demo. And I don't know if it's still the case, but I don't even think you could even have 4 people in the game like on a team at the same time. It was just 2. But you controlled 4. It's kind of weird. Just a weird situation. So
yeah.
Yeah, if you're still playing it, I wonder what the I mean, they're still doing content, so there's got to still be a decent player base, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe it's like a super casual player base that jumps in every once in a while and plays on the weekend or something. But yeah, that update is out today.
Oh, and Nick, I did want to talk about kind of going back to the Game Awards real quick. Xbox was not there at all. They didn't have a single first party. I mean, Diablo was there, which we did talk about that, but Diablo looks really good. Obviously that's going to be first party at some point, maybe. Well, it'll be first party, but it may not be exclusive. That may be one of the games that they allow to be on other platforms. But they didn't have a single game. And I know a lot of people were really upset. Ryan McCaffrey over at IGN, who's kind of head of the main Xbox writer, I guess. He's got the podcast and stuff. I did like an opinion piece on whatever. My thoughts, because obviously, I mean, they've got Redfall, they've got Starfield, so they could have had something. I think this acquisition played a big part into why they didn't show up. I know that could just be an excuse. I don't know 100% sure, but with everything going on with the acquisition and the troubles they're having over in Europe, I think they didn't want to add any sort of fuel to the fire for this deal to not go through. So that's just my thought on it. I don't know if that's the actual case, but yeah, still a bummer that they weren't there, because I mean, even Nintendo was there and we didn't expect them to be there at all. So
yeah. Honestly, I don't think they have anything to show.
Okay.
And it almost feels like gaslighting at this point, because every year for the past few years. Like the marketing people at Xbox, like the Aaron Greenbergs and all those people, at the end of every year, they say, "Hey, 2021, we have this and this and this, and a lot of unannounced projects.
Yeah.
2022, we have Starfield and this and this and this, and a bunch of unannounced stuff." And I'm specifically calling out Aaron Greenberg, but he made the same tweet after the Game Awards. He was like, "Hey, 2023, we have a lot of stuff coming out." And it's like, do you have games? Like, does Xbox?
I mean,
do they make
acquired
games?
Million studios, and yet we've got nothing. We got Pentiment.
Like you can't just have Pentiment and then the 1.0 version of Grounded.
Yeah.
Which are both from Obsidian.
Yeah,
that's a one developer. You have like 20 or 30 developers making games for you at any time. Like,
yeah.
Can you not get a trailer for a game? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to defend Xbox. It really is, especially them just not showing up here because again they've got games coming out 2023. Obviously with Redfall and Starfield announced. So for that, them just not have a trailer for either one of those it's super strange. Obviously Game Pass is incredible. They're constantly putting out really amazing games on the service. But man, yeah, you've got. I mean, you've had Halo and Forza is like the only two like first party games to come out since the Series X launched. I may be missing a couple things, but the two biggest things. And Forza was really good, and Halo has struggled with content, and management and all that stuff. So yeah, it's hard. It gets harder and harder to defend Xbox.
Yeah, I'll just say I really, really hope for Xbox's sake that Redfall and Starfield are games of the generation.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, if Starfield is an okay game, if it's like if it's like an 8 out of 10 game, then what is this all been for?
Yeah, it's got to come. It's got to be like a 10 out of 10. It's got to be like a no-brainer 10 out of 10, like across the board. Because
but like people have less. They have less give when it comes to like jank.
Yeah,
now
they do.
Not. They didn't have as much give, or they had more give when Skyrim came out, when Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 came out.
I was on the 360. That was 10 plus years ago. I mean, that was just kind of what we were used to back then.
Yeah.
And especially coming from, obviously Bethesda, they were just known for their jank. But those games were just so good, so fun to explore. But when you got games like Elden Ring coming out, that plays just about as flawlessly as you can ask for. Granted, that those games have so much more stuff going on than I think Elden Ring does, as far as like quests and stuff like that. But or not, I don't know. But yeah, I think they have to come out swinging. I think Redfall has to be really good. I think the networktivity in that game has to be incredible. Like they cannot have it launch and it stutter and have issues. Like, yeah,
you can't have any multiplayer issues.
Yeah, and the game's just got to be fun in general to play. So yeah, it's a big year for Xbox next year. I think they've got some. I know they've got a lot of games that could potentially be amazing, but I think their goodwill is starting to run out.
I mean, I think it's out.
And yeah,
I think it's out for me in terms of like their content that they're producing. I do appreciate Game Pass, and I love their platform. I love that you can game share and essentially get games for half costs with me and you sharing games.
Yeah.
But I'm not really looking forward to any first party games. I'm just looking forward to the next game that comes on Game Pass.
Yeah.
At this point, like I'm not gonna I'm not going to hold out hope for Starfield releasing in 2023.
Yeah.
I know Redfall will, but Starfield is probably going to get pushed to Q4 and then get pushed to 2024.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, obviously there's so many much other games to play, so I don't really.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't
to
really get
us.
too upset or anything like that. I mean, we got PlayStation, we got Nintendo, whatever. We got every other indie game coming out, but yeah, they need a hit. They need a win. You know, they need a solid game. They need Starfield to just come out and be good. I know that's a lot to. I guess I should say a lot to ask for, but I know that's a big undertaking because that game is huge. But yeah, I'm ready for them to have something solid on the platform, not just another third party Game Pass release.
Yeah, I'm tired of all the Game Pass tweets and like that's all they talk about is like, they do their Game Pass jokes of if you want to play this game, you can play it right now, or like if you were thinking about playing a game today, you should play this game on Game Pass. It's like, yeah, you can do that. You can do that all day, but you need a game.
Yeah,
you need a first party game.
Yeah, and the fact that they've acquired so many studios, and just nothing has came out,
which doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah, if you don't have games coming out, then and granted, they might have acquired these studios, and they could have been in very early development of their next game, but still, man, like, dang,
like without Bethesda, what would their 2023 look like?
Yeah. I think it's a possibility that Gear 6 gets announced to come out this year, or at least announced and then maybe comes out 2024. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Can't just live off of Vampire Survivors, Pentiment, and Grounded.
Yeah,
that doesn't fuel Game Pass.
No
sales.
Yeah, you need some big boys to get launched. But yeah, I want to briefly talk about that because I know obviously they weren't there. There was a couple of Phil Spencer, which was funny. The fact that they weren't there at all, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then last up today is Zelda Wind Waker's 20th anniversary.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Maybe we will see you on the Switch one day. Maybe the Switch 2.
I don't know. Maybe I'm convinced that game will come out at some point, but I don't know if it'll be in the near future or not.
Well, at least we know that Jeff Grubb is shaving his head.
Yeah, unless we get like a crazy no. He's shaving his head. He's got to. He's got to shave it. No match for him. So yeah, I mean, big year next year. Next year is going to be just insane with games. I mean, you tweeted out earlier. I mean, in Q1, I mean, there's
already a bunch.
I'm gonna be so broke in the first half of the year.
Hey, we'll be broke together.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, yeah. Well, actually, less broke because
you'll be one half less broke.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up the show. Everyone, appreciate everyone that's listening. If you can leave us a review over on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, good or bad. We are open to all sorts of criticism. That's much appreciated. So look forward to in the future. I think next week it will be the last week, the last show of the year, because we're gonna take Christmas off. So I think we're gonna record our God of War episode at some point. Next week maybe. And then I'll have that ready to go. So that technically won't be a missing show, but we won't actually be live again until January. Next week, Nick, do you want to kind of do a ranking or discuss like the big three companies?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so we'll talk about
we'll rank their 2022 performance.
Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, of course. How they did based off of games, their service, all that good stuff. We'll kind of discuss those. So we'll do that and talk about some more games. I don't think there'll be a lot of news between here and now, but who knows? There always could be.
Still waiting on Sports Story. So that's any day now.
Sports Story. Yeah. When does that come out?
December.
They haven't got an official release date?
No, I think it's got to be a shadow drop at this point. But
Okay.
yeah, no
I
date.
I thought that was like the 15th or so. I thought that was already
No,
announced.
nothing. No date. It's weird.
That is weird. Well, maybe there's a chance for Metroid. Maybe they'll just release Sports Story and then they'll drop. Hey, there's also Metroid.
And here's the dual pack for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker while we're at it.
And also, you guys have ever heard of a game called Silksong? Here you go.
So, yeah, speaking of
God,
which,
can you? Oh my god, dude! I would love and hate Nintendo if they shadow dropped that stupid game.
it's stupid game.
Stupid game. And then I think either probably the first couple of weeks in January we'll
do Game of the Year.
Do Game of the Year because I'm definitely gonna need my time off to go back and finish up and play some stuff that I haven't yet. So
I know. Yeah. Still, I still need to finish Mario and Rabbids.
I haven't even started. I need to start that game. Yeah. All right, but yeah, Nick, where can they follow us on our socials?
First, follow us at Twitter at Gaming WT Bros. Tweet us there. We do polls and stuff all the time, tweeting all the time, tweeting news, all that good stuff. If you want to email us, it is gamingwiththebros@yahoo.com. You can email us any questions, and we can try to answer them on the podcast. Instagram, Gaming with the Bros Cast, and then TikTok, also Gaming with the Bros Cast. So yeah, give us a follow. All those are also in the description. So just go check those out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we will see y'all the very last live episode of the year next Monday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.